Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Today we are proceeding with chapter 22, Al Hajj, the pilgrimage. And as we saw the progression of this surah, talking about the pilgrimage, talking about the importance and how this pilgrimage can make a heart, I call it a heart dialysis, basically uh, takes out any contaminants, takes out any pollution in your heart, because you'll see that you are walking, that you are going around the Kaaba or the house of Allah, you're going almost naked. You're only covering yourself with two pieces of garment. It shows that your money you have left behind, your kids you have left behind. You see that you are under the mercy of God. A lot of people die standing on the mountain of Arafat because of the heat stroke. So you are under the mercy of Allah. Your money cannot help you at this point. Your status cannot help you at this point. For any reason, some people will stay in tents or whatever, but for any reason, that tent, like we saw years and years back in Hajj, that a fire can erupt and the fire can happen, and regardless, you're wealthy, you're healthy, you can't escape the fire. It happened before. So some people step on each other during the stoning. So all of this means that you have to go, and when you're there, you have to think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate protector. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, you're doing this for Allah. So don't engage in idle talking. Don't engage in useless talking. Don't engage in anything. Just gain the experience. And when you come back, you already saw the reality of life. The reality that I can live this life and I won't have anything with me. And that's give you that stimulus to become more mature in dealing with the religion of Allah, in dealing with Islam, in dealing with others, in dealing, I have my objective, my interest is other Muslims or other human and mankind who are persecuted. But I have to educate myself, and also to have to understand what Islam is saying and how I'm supposed to behave and what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do, and what words has to come out of my mouth and what words I'm not supposed to. So all of this give the believer, basically enhance, elevate his iman, his belief status. He become more mu'min. What's mu'min means? Secure. So the iman, the word the iman actually in it comes from the word security. To put security in your heart that you're protected. That you're protected. That you're not afraid. Once you have iman, you have security. You have security from what? You have security that nobody can harm you, because Allah protect you. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make that turn in the verse number 38. Inna Allah yudafi'u 'anil ladhina amanu. So when your iman increase, you'll know that anything comes from Allah is good. Even in your eyes, you see that this is a calamity. This can be suffering. This can be hardship. But Allah knows best for you. Allah knows that can deliver you. Can make you more mature, a more mature believer. because it's ranges. Some believers are, on the top, and everybody has different levels of belief. So the security you get from Allah in your heart, that Allah is the protector. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah, He said, Allahu Inna Allah yudafi'u. Allah protect those who believed, who increased their iman. Against what? So Allah is protecting them against any harm. People in your household, people are in your family, people are from your neighbors, people in your circle, people in your workplace, people in any way, people, even a drunk driver driving. Before he come and hit your car or hit you in the street, he probably will hit a tree. If Allah wants this, it's not your time. Allah will want to protect you. So many things. Allah will protect the believers. People are trying to conspire to harm somebody, but that person is a believer. That person is believing Allah. Allah will protect that person. But remember, protection of that person doesn't have to be with our human measures is the winning way, or the right way. For example, somebody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wants to give him the highest level in Jannah, He protects him in a way will let others harm him. And that person, say for example, dies in jail, dies in prison, because he was stepping up against injustice. He was saying the truth. He was talking to tyrants, dictators, people who steal the money for their constituents, people who are killing, torturing others. He steps up and says, this is not right. This is falsehood. This is indeed injustice. They take him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a protection for him, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows this life is nothing. So that doesn't mean that you are going to have to live in a mansion, you're going to have to live in a house which has every entertainment or everything available for you. No. That means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you in a way, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He sees you, He measures two things together. This life and then the hereafter. And He wants to get you, because He sees you did everything here, you believed in Him, and you proved your iman. That's another thing. You have to prove to Allah your iman. I cannot say that I believe. But when the first test come in front of me, I fail. When I see brothers and sisters are tortured, kids have been, their hands or their foot or their legs have been chopped, tortured. In other Muslim countries, they're fighting, they're killing each other. There is no respect to nothing. Women are getting raped. People are getting displaced. People are dying from hunger. And your heart is not moving, or you're doing anything towards this with even a post or a comment. There's something wrong in your iman. That's what it is. So the iman has to be proven to Allah, and you have to be steadfast on it, that your values, Your iman, your Islam is the same. Against yourself, against your family, everybody. It's the same. The right is right. The haqq is haqq. The truth is truth. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will provide you that himayah, that protection, that security. Yudafi'. It's a big word. When you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the king, inna Allah yudafi'. He is the one who protecting you. But you have to show that you're protecting others. You have to show that you are helping others. That your voice can be heard. That you're saying the truth. And Allah will protect you. In a way, it doesn't have to be convenient for you. It doesn't have to be satisfying to you, because you don't know, I don't know what's the best for me. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows. And that's why you give Him your affairs. He will take care of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect those believers. And this is what's happening. Anybody who's saying the truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of him. He will cut. He will destroy anybody who's trying to harm that believer. And this is what's happening. You see in Badr, in the first battle, the Muslims, very few, 313. The disbelievers, they're almost over 1,000. Equipments, Muslims have nothing. Equipments for the disbelievers have the camels, they have the horses, they have everything. But when the Muslims exploited, they believed, they prayed, they did whatever they can. Even in a sense where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he took Abu Bakr, him and Sayyidina Abu Bakr, they went beside a well. They think it doesn't mean that, oh, they're gonna lose. No. They take everything in consideration. Oh, we have to put our troops next to a well of water, so we'll have access to water, and the other group won't have, and the disbelievers won't have access. It exploited all the reasons. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He did what? He sent angels to help the Muslims. He sent angels to kill the disbelievers. Inna Allah yudafi'. Allah is protecting the believers. Why? They showed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala their traits. They showed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what they are made of. In Mecca, they were tortured. Bilal, he would say, Ahadun Ahad, Allah. He shows strength. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him. So many of the believers, Mus'ab ibn Umair, and what happened to him? And he's been taken all his belonging, all his money, which he was one of the very rich of Mecca. He had to let everything go. And he went to Medina. He left all his money, all his belonging. He was one of the richest. They sacrificed. They proved their iman practically. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shielded them, helped them, made them under His protection. And that's what happened. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we saw what they did in Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the protection. It's the same concept. When you do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you're doing the good things, how a worker in a company stays in that company? By keep doing his job correct, accurate, and according to the guidance of the management. Management tell him to do the job like this, he does it the same way the management. Because the management can fire him. And that's exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to do everything according to what Allah says and how the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam did it. End of the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إن الله يدافع عن الذين آمنوا إن الله لا يحب كل خوان كفور. Indeed, Allah does not like those who are deceitful, hypocrites. Those have no belief. They only worship themselves. They only worship their interest. They only worship the green dollar. They only worship their position. They only worship their ego. They took Islam as songs, as old tales, not Islam as practical and practice. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that in a different ayah, إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةِ, that Islam is an amana, the Quran is amana. What's amana means? It's a trust. When a lawyer have a trust account for one of his clients, that's called amana, trust. He cannot take the money without the permission of his client. He cannot spend that money on himself. Exactly the same thing about the Islam and the Quran and the Deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given this amana to us as Muslims. To do what? First of all, to implement it, know it, believe in it, implement it in our life, spread it to others. That's the amana. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, Inna Allah, indeed the people who are under, the people who are not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He have one group who protects them. The other group, He don't like them. La yuhib, He don't like those who are deceitful. From the outside, oh, I'm Muslim. La ilaha illallah. But from the inside, the love of money, the love of wealth, the love of status, the love of the position, the love of the ego can make that person do anything. Doesn't matter. And the shaitan make him justify that. Oh, I will take these people and kill them, put them in jails and prisons, torture them, falsify cases against them. Oh, because they will commit insecurity. The country will become insecure. They're terrorists. That's what أن الله لا يحب كل خوان. You give him the trust account. You give your lawyer a trust account. After 10 years, you go. The lawyer spend it on himself and his family. He went gambling. It happens a lot in our system, in our legal system. This is khawan. He didn't protect the trust. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us. This religion of Islam is a trust. And if we don't take that religion seriously, implement it, spread it, show the people what Islam is, the kindness, the gentleness, the belief, the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what this Islam creates, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not going to love us. And this is what He said. Inna Allah la yuhibbu. He doesn't love kulla khawan, disloyal, that person who cheats, that person who takes the trust and doesn't fulfill it. Why? Kafur. His iman is not there. He sees the truth, he sees the Islam, he sees the Quran, but only from the outside. He doesn't implement it. He has a disbelief there. He has hypocrisy. And these people will be in the bottom of the hell fire. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو